Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany
and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows
like Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and more. Hi everyone, I'm Brittany.
And I'm Cynthia.
And today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 20, titled What Is and What Should Never Be. Air date April 27th, 2004, and the synopsis is:
Keith has a job opportunity to work as an auto shop teacher outside of Treeville. Lucas is heartbroken Keith may move away, and then when Dan finds out Nathan sold the car, he demands to have the money he makes from it unless he moves in. Chooses not to and gets a job at the mall. Also, Haley throws a party at the apartment where a fight breaks out with Dan and...
It's weird how it starts.
Yeah, so this had to be a dream, right?
Maybe no. Because he says that Tim is bringing chicks over.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think that they're taking over the apartment, which means Nathan goes to Haley's. Like they're actually spending the night at his house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just weird that he ended up in bed, or let's say, another woman for Haley.
Yeah, well, it wasn't him.
Was that not him on his bed?
No. No.
Then who the hell was it?
Because that's what they were trying to show you. Like, they were trying to act like that. But he's at Haley's because Tim keeps bringing people over.
Because it looked like that was the transition from being in his bed with another woman, and then it translates.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in bed with anyone.
Haley.
Besides Haley. And we never saw him in bed with Haley because Haley was getting ready already.
Mm-hmm.
Brushing her hair, so. No, they're just strangers.
So no, it definitely wasn't Tim. Okay, I can see the price was different. But the way they made it look, it was like him or something.
Yeah, they made it look like him, but it wasn't.
Yeah, so apparently he showed up at her house, at her window at like 4 o'clock.
Oh, was it 4?
Yeah, I guess like after the party ended and their band was like sleeping.
Why wouldn't he
kick them out?
No, why wouldn't he want to leave before that?
I guess he was
like when Tim has all these women over, like, why wouldn't you want to, leave?
Right. Yeah, so apparently this was the 4th time in 2 weeks. So, I guess they might be having, like, weekdays too then. And then Haley suggests that they have their own party. They take back his apartment. Take back the party.
Why is she thinking of a party?
Yeah, I thought that was, out of character for her to volunteer to put it together and everything on her own.
Yeah.
Anything. So it's going to be Saturday. And to make sure it's low-key with friends. So, does this mean she hasn't been to any of Nathan's apartment, with Tim's parties at the apartment? If she thinks that she can have it that small?
So about the scene, like seriously, why is Haley wanting to throw a party?
Yeah, I don't know, like I said, it's out of character for her.
Well, and it's not like she has, like, a ton of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the person that would throw a house party is Brooke.
Right.
It's just weird that Haley would want to. And again, that'd be something Nathan would want to do. But he doesn't want to.
Right.
He's, like, doing it because she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Also, she has a lot of money. Because she spent all of her last tips and all that on Lucas.
Right.
So, I'm just like,
yeah,
she must have a lot of money.
Yeah, she must have saved up again.
Again, it was only the other day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Only like what? Maybe a week has gone by?
Mm-hmm.
So, again, that's just very weird.
Yeah, well, some has to be her paycheck, because now she has, like, bills or anything. So.
Maybe her cell phone bill. Maybe her parents make her pay for it. I don't know.
Shouldn't be too much, yeah.
Shouldn't be too much.
Well, I don't know. I don't remember how much phones were back then.
Oh my god.
But I was surprised she invited Peyton first and not like Lucas.
Maybe she. Well, I think that was just
And
the
then
first person she saw.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. And then Keith walks into the cafe where Karen greets him, but he tells her to call Mr. Scott.
Oh my God, that was weird.
Yeah.
Like right away, she goes, "Hi, Keith," or whatever, and he goes, "It's Mr. Scott," and I'm like, I like looked around, like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and he said it so like stern, kind of, and I was like, what is happening?
Right.
Like, why is he?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt really weird. I'm like, okay, so you're mad at her.
Yeah, it sounds like something Dan would say.
Yes, that's exactly the thing. Was he's turning a little into Dan? Like, your name's Keith.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah, so he was just trying it out because of the job opportunity.
Yeah, but how he said it.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you said, "Hey, let's just try this out for a second." But how he said it was like, "No, you need to call me this," and it's like, no, she doesn't. She never has, and she doesn't need to.
Right. So he's has a job interview tomorrow in Charleston to be like the auto shop teacher.
So how far is that?
I don't
Tree
know.
Hill and Charleston.
It sounds far.
I mean, they're both in North Carolina, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, Cynthia,
Mm-hmm.
this show, you'll be able to say the state.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
North Carolina. It's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just surprised to hear that a high school would even have an auto shop class, you know?
Maybe back in the day they used to.
Maybe, yeah, because, like, I know our school had
That wood shop.
Yeah.
But they had, what was it? Building trades.
Yeah. Which is kind of the same thing, isn't it? Kind of.
What?
Not the same thing, but just, like, along the lines of, you know, making something.
Yeah, because they're building a house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
it's just cars, but because I know like our high school used to have like maybe not culinary classes, but like
no, I think they did because they used to like bake and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, home ec. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my mom had it.
Mine did too.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird how they took all that out? Like stuff you actually need and use every day.
Yeah. And then,
like, wouldn't it have been great to learn all these techniques and that stuff back in the day, you know?
Yeah, because I think they still had, like, the counters that they used for it in one of the classrooms, so just never took it out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of classes would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those I feel like, are necessary, and I feel like they should be mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we took consumerist math, that was mandatory or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like so would home economics and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, I got out of wood shop the first day.
Yeah, I think
I was like, it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, okay, it's kind of funny that I say that because when it comes to my dad building stuff, I help him. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of funny. Yeah. But it's different. Like when a teacher's telling you how to do something and you're like, whatever. But like when it's your dad and it's something you can do together, mm-hmm. It's just different. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll help you when I feel like it, but also it's something we can do together.
Right.
And it's different when your dad is teaching you versus a teacher. Because what if the teacher doesn't like you? Now, I know our teacher, who it was, he loved everybody. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, if you get the teacher that hates you, like for me in art, I hated art because of the teacher. Mm-hmm. If we would have had a different teacher, I probably would have loved art class. Mm-hmm. Like in elementary. I loved art. But I hated art in high school. It's like the teacher matters. Mm-hmm. And, I think Keith, doing this, the kids will love him. Mm-hmm. Because the kids love him now. It's just, he just goes to a different town.
Right.
But I think maybe the boys in our school probably would have loved it. But I think maybe they took it out because cars these days, it's hard to fix.
Yeah, depending on what it is, yeah.
Like, it's not something that that's like basics anymore. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything is like electronics and stuff. So, I think they're turning. But I think maybe back then they might have had it. And maybe the bigger schools.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just budget-wise, too.
Yeah. But I think, well, I mean, for our school, we were a little school. But maybe for like the bigger schools, they probably have those, and maybe other states.
Right.
Because California probably has it. I don't know. If you go to like a big school.
Yeah.
But clearly not us. I mean, but Cynthia, you have to remember too, we barely had anything.
Right.
Like, we didn't have that many electives to choose from.
Right.
I wish we did, but we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be.
Also, what I thought was weird was Keith didn't go to college.
Right.
So how can he be a teacher? Because no matter what, you have to have at least some sort of teaching degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you never went to college, so you don't have a teaching degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that threw me off because I'm like, how can you even apply if you don't have a teaching degree?
Right.
That threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, so, and then in order for them to actually call him too to get an interview, I was like, what? So that either tells me nobody applied or we're going to ignore the fact that he doesn't have a teaching degree. I was like, I was like, right, Keith can all of a sudden be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're just settling for his experience.
His failed experience. Like, again, if you look at paper-wise, it's a failed experience.
Yeah.
It's not even successful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know the ends of it because he was paying for Lucas's medical bills.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at paper-wise, it does look like he failed. So you can't even say he had a successful business. You know? So I just find it a little weird that we're taking this kind of turn.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like they could have had him do anything else besides teaching kids this.
Yeah. And then Karen looks like she was shocked,
You know what would have been better? If he would have ran into, like, an older gentleman who he started bonding with. And he was selling his business and wanted to kind of have Keith kind of carry on the legacy or something.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That would have been more understandable than him teaching kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, that would have been better.
Yeah. And Karen looks shocked because she didn't think that he would be, moving away this fast.
Oh, well, of course, Keith is on a runaway track.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so annoying. It's like, again, the person that would move away in this cast doesn't seem like it'd be Keith. So, seems like he's also been like the homeboy that, wants to stay in town, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like Keith, but all of a sudden he's like, no, I've always wanted to leave. No, you haven't. Otherwise you would have.
So Keith asks Karen if she told Lucas about the proposal, and Karen says she's been wrestling with it.
Also, Lucas is never home.
Right.
That's the other laughable thing is like, Lucas isn't really home to even discuss anything with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when was the last time they really talked? Oh, to say Brooke was pregnant. But that was a serious moment. It's not like they're going to discuss Brooke being pregnant and then, oh yeah, in the mix of it, Keith proposed.
Right.
Like, their first business was the pregnancy, which it should have been.
Yeah.
That takes top priority.
Mm-hmm.
Then Keith's feelings.
Right.
On this weird proposal.
Mm-hmm. And then Keith says that he'll tell Lucas about him moving. Sure he will.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah, I mean, he does tell him. Does he tell him? I can't remember.
Lucas goes, no, Karen tells him.
Oh, okay.
But my thing is, he doesn't visit Lucas since this whole thing. So he doesn't visit Lucas. Lucas doesn't work there because of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Keith's anymore, so Dan is not going to allow Lucas there. So it's not like they work together anymore, and he doesn't visit him. So when would he tell Lucas, is my question.
I don't know.
You wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going out of your way to see this person, this kid,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to tell him. So what are you talking about? And when Keith stops at the cafe all the time, Lucas is always at school.
Mm-hmm.
Or basketball. Like, when are you going to tell Lucas?
Right.
You're not. Because again, you're leaving
Mm-hmm.
soon.
Yeah.
So your plan is to leave. So when are you going to tell him the day before you move?
Right.
Like, Lucas, that's my problem too. Keith is acting like such a baby because Lucas is the child,
Mm-hmm.
not you. Lucas shouldn't have to come to you to bring up you moving. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're going to tell him, frickin' tell him. This is what I hate about people. And, like, people in my family have done it. They don't tell anybody information, but then when you find out, they get mad that somebody else told.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, then why didn't you just say it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how long was it going to take for you to say something?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just say it. If you're moving, just say it. Like, why does everything have to be a secret?
Right.
It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that big of a deal. If it's not, I mean, if you're acting like it's not that big of a deal, I'm moving, then just say it. But also, when are you going to have this bonding time with him? You haven't really.
Right.
Not lately. Not since his accident. Remember too, Keith didn't come to see Lucas. Like once Karen yelled at him, kind of. Lucas went to Keith, his
Mm-hmm.
house. Again, who's the bigger person? Lucas.
Right.
Like, why is the child coming to you instead of you coming to him?
Right.
When he didn't do anything. That's what I have an issue with Keith.
He was trying to avoid Karen though. At the house.
But Lucas goes to the river court.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that. He could go to the school when he's coming out of practice to talk to him. There's other ways. He could call him on his freaking cell phone and say, hey, can we meet up?
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways to avoid Karen but still be in communication with Lucas.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying is I don't like that Keith is acting like a baby in this situation. Like, you're acting like the victim in all of this. And you kind of started it all. But Lucas has to be the grown-up.
Right.
Why? It shouldn't be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like Keith is one kicking and screaming. And it's just really annoying that Lucas has to be the grown-up. But also, I do like that Karen is being nice to him. Because, she hasn't really been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think the reason why she's being, really nice and, extra nice is because she feels guilty for saying no?
Possibly, yeah.
And, breaking his heart?
Mm-hmm.
But it was so out of the blue.
Right.
I mean, but I don't agree with what she says later. That, they're just friends.
Right.
Because you liked them.
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't want to admit it. Because if you were just friends, why would you kiss like that at the airport?
Right.
You wouldn't kiss at all. Maybe on the cheek.
Yeah, well, she did have feelings for him, but then the accident happened, so any feelings that she had faded away very quickly. So it's just a fleeting crush.
Well, clearly, because she's just we're just friends. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, Lucas is fine now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And then Karen says that Lucas will miss him.
Again, why are we using Lucas?
Mm-hmm.
Just admit it. You'll miss him because you don't have friends.
Right.
That we see. I mean, her only friend is Deb.
Mm-hmm.
As of late.
As of what?
Late.
As of late, yeah.
I mean, it used to be Keith. That was her best friend.
Right.
But now it's dead. Isn't that weird that they all seem to be somewhat related to Dan? Her ex.
Right. So then at basketball practice, Lucas is struggling a little bit. And
well, this is his first time coming back to practice, right? Of course he's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Because this is his first time coming back to practice. Also, Cynthia, I have a question. Okay, timeline wise, not episode wise. How long has it been since the accident?
I don't know, a few weeks maybe.
How long did they say this was to be out? I thought it was like weeks.
They never said.
I thought they did. When he was in the hospital and he like woke up. I feel like they did. But I'm just like kind of curious because I don't know if it's really all that sucked because Karen was gone for 6 whole weeks. Then it's been a few weeks since the accident. I feel like basketball would be over by now. That's why this whole thing's throwing me off. Because you would think that when the accident happened, that basketball was like almost over.
Right.
And then we go to all the weeks now that it's been, and they still have basketball going on. To me, it doesn't make very much sense.
Yeah, so eventually Lucas is the last one in the gym, still trying to make a basket.
I do like how Nathan was being nice to him.
At the same time, cheerleading practice ends. Then Lucas tells Peyton the good news is that he's back, but the bad news is that he sucks. And then Lucas's arm was bothering him, so Peyton just starts massaging it. That was weird. And then Brooke walks in, of course, when this is happening.
And she says, I'd say I'd get a room, but I already did that.
Yeah. And storms out. And then Peyton follows Brooke outside.
And as soon as she started massaging him, it's like, of course, Brooke's going to walk in, because who else would?
And then, so Peyton follows Brooke outside. She says they have to stop doing this, and Brooke says fine, she'll stop talking to her, and, she can stop talking, they stop talking to each other.
Yeah, because they're not friends anymore.
Yeah. And then, Brooke says, because Peyton realizes that, and then Brooke says for a fake blonde, she catches on slow, and Peyton says she tried apologizing to her, but she's done trying. And Brooke says good, because it's pathetic, and Peyton says if that's what she wants, fine, walks away. So, yeah, I don't know why Peyton, because it's been episodes now that Brooke hasn't had interest in talking to Peyton, so I don't know why it took her until now to realize.
She knows, but I think she just thought eventually she'll get over it. Like, she's only going to need a couple weeks.
Right.
But she doesn't know about the pregnancy, though, right?
No.
So, she doesn't realize that it's one thing to, like, have this happen and then try to forget it. But when you had a pregnancy scare, it's going to be on your mind because you think you're pregnant with this person. You know what I mean? So for her, it was a little longer to try to get over because of the pregnancy. So, but Peyton doesn't know that. Peyton just thinks, it's been weeks now, like you should forget it. But for Brooke, obviously things have gotten in the way of her trying to forget it.
Right. And then Nathan's playing video games at his apartment with Tim when Haley walks in. She has things for the party and...
apparently she's buying everything.
Yep. And so the party's on her, apparently. And she tells him that she ran into some extra people and don't want them to know about going, so... But it's still going to be low-key. And then, when Haley goes to put things away in the higher cupboard, that's when the back of her shirt lifts up, exposing her tattoo in front of Nathan.
Yeah, now all of a sudden he's into it.
Yeah, because it looks like he's, like, smiles, like, smirking at it. And
he likes it now.
Yeah.
Now. All of a sudden, Nathan's into the tattoo.
Right.
Okay.
And then, she notices that he's standing there looking at her, and he just says, she's lucky that Tim is there, because he's got a thing for girls named Haley James. she says he's lucky there too. And then in unison, they both say Tim go home, but he doesn't budge, so Haley says she has more things in the car.
What I thought was weird was as soon as she walks out, Dan walks in.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, didn't Dan ask Haley?
Yeah, he had to.
I'm like, because he's not on the first floor, right? So,
right.
because remember Lucas walks up the steps?
Mm-hmm.
So Dan would have to pass Haley. And I was like, that'd be weird. And you know Dan, he always has a smart ass remark to say that I can only imagine what he said to Haley as she was walking past him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's Dan. He's not going to just be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He's always got to dig. And also, he just storms into the... I'm like, what? He just opens up that door as if he lives there. I'm like, all right. Like, Nathan should really lock his door. Because you wouldn't have Dan just entering out of nowhere. And then he brings up how Nathan sold the Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, about this Mustang. That's a very expensive vehicle. Car.
Right.
First of all. Secondly, as much as I don't want to say it, Cynthia, I side with Dan.
Right.
Because it's not Nathan's car.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have given it back when you moved out. So I agree with Dan that Nathan owes him money. Because again, that's not... First of all, I don't think there's any cheap cars nowadays. But we're talking about a Mustang. So that's very expensive. So that's a lot of money to just throw away. Like if Nathan's not going to drive it.
Yeah.
So I agree with Dan that he owes him money. But where in the world would Nathan get that much money from?
Right.
Like, he already spent it, right? On his apartment?
Maybe. We don't know how much he got either, so.
Now, this isn't his bedroom set, right? From home, right? Or is it? I can't imagine he could just load up his bedroom set. And Deb wouldn't say, hey, now wait a minute, I paid for that. Or Dan saying that. You know? Because it's like, if you want to move out, then you better start buying your own stuff. Like, I paid for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That threw me off too. I'm like, is this the same bedroom set? He really just took it from home?
He could have, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, his parents, I feel like, would have put a stop to that. But the money for the Mustang, though, like, I don't know, it still throws me off. Like, why does Nathan not have a job? Is he really just now living off this Mustang money? But he did give Dan something.
What did he give him?
I don't know. Dan said he owed him money and he handed him something.
Yeah, I think it was the money left over that he didn't spend yet.
So now Nathan's really poor.
Yeah.
Because he has no money now. Again, why wouldn't he have a job?
I don't know.
It doesn't make much sense.
Mm-hmm.
But who do you side with, Nathan or Dan, when it comes to this?
Well, I would think that the car was in Dan's name, so...
Well, yeah, it was his dealership.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, the way he bought it for Nathan, but it was still in Dan's name. So I feel like Nathan couldn't have even, like, sold it if it wasn't in his own name.
Yeah, because Dan would have to legally sign over the title.
Yeah, to be, like, stolen vehicle.
Yeah, stolen, yeah.
So I don't know how he's able to do that in the first place, so, yeah.
Yeah, because legally Dan could sue Nathan for it. Mm-hmm. And given Dan, he would.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a point. But yeah, don't you side with Dan when it comes to that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not much I side with him on.
Right.
But when it comes to this, I definitely do. Because Nathan's in the wrong.
Right. And then at school the next day, Haley is inviting more people.
No, my God. She doesn't even know these people.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Nathan said low-key a few people.
Mm-hmm.
And Haley's inviting all these people. Like, all these strangers.
Right.
Like, Cynthia, do you want to hang out with a whole bunch of people you don't know?
No.
At your own party? I sure wouldn't. I also wouldn't want to babysit a whole bunch of strangers.
Right.
That's what you're doing. You don't know how these people act out in public.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could be wild and crazy and break stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hence what happens.
Yeah. And then she tells them not to tell anybody, and they agree. But
yeah, right.
Well,
that's the thing is, I think Haley lost track of who she even told.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the party, when all these randoms show up, she's going to be like, "Did I invite you?" And they're all going to go, "Mm-hmm."
Right.
Because she's lost track now of who she even invited. Mm-hmm. This is why you don't invite a whole bunch of people. But then, of course, there's Brooke. Now, I will say for Brooke, it would be very hard. Haley's over here inviting strangers. But she's not inviting you. And you could say she was mean to her, but they've also had these nice moments since the meanness happened. Mm-hmm. So, I agree with Brooke. And also, it is weird how Haley is taking sides. Like, shouldn't she kind of be just neutral?
Right.
Yeah. Especially given what happened. She witnessed Lucas and Peyton cheat. And yet, she's kind of siding with them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exactly sound right.
Right.
So you definitely have to feel bad for Brooke. Like, she's definitely not even invited to Haley's party. Who's never thrown a party before.
Yeah. Yeah, so Brooke realizes she's not invited because Peyton said so, and Haley says she didn't say that exactly. And Brooke says, she could have a little party and make her naked close to her.
Well, I do think Peyton would let Brooke come. Because it's not her party.
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell somebody, don't invite this person to your party. Like, if they want to, they can invite whoever they want.
Yeah.
It's your choice not to go. That's what I don't, like, when people always say that, like, don't invite this person. Whose party is it? It's not yours. If you don't want to see this person, don't show up.
And Haley tells Brooke it's just a couple of friends, and Brooke
says, couple.
Yeah, right, and she's not one of them.
Well, that's the thing. You're not friends, but also she's inviting all these strangers.
Right.
And Tim's invited. The problem is Tim knows about this party. And he's already invited strangers to Nathan's house.
Right.
It's like, it's only going to get worse.
Yep. And then at the mall, Nathan and Haley are there, where Nathan asks Haley, what kind of experience you have to work, just to work at the mall. Haley says some. And then they get to the smoothie place, where they see the now hiring sign.
The what place?
The smoothie, I wouldn't call it the smoothie place.
Smoothie?
It's like...
It was pretzels.
Oh, yeah, but didn't they have smoothies too? Because Haley said that, do you want a smoothie on her? And that's when I see the sign. So I was just calling it that at first, but I have it in my notes, I think, somewhere down, but it's like hot and something.
Yeah, I mean, they probably do sell drinks if you're selling a pretzel. Because the person is thirsty.
Yeah. And then, so Nathan goes to fill an application out for it. But before he can even finish, the manager there just, looks to see what his name is and asks if he can, start right away. So, that was easy.
Well, that was weird. Oh, Nathan Scott. It's like, huh? You can start right now. Okay.
And then Payne is...
It definitely shows the times, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you can just start day of.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, you have to go through interviews and backgrounds and, paperwork before you can just start. Like, they have to know how to pay you, right?
Right.
Unless it's under the table.
And then Payne is at her house drawing...
Also, Nathan doesn't know how much he's making.
Right, yeah.
But I know right now he's just desperate. But this is my thing. he should have had a job already.
Right.
Like, why is he getting one now? Oh, yeah, Daddy took your Mustang money away.
Right. So Payne is at her house, strong like usual, when Lucas shows up with her CD of Blackouts. He apparently borrowed it and forgot to give it back. And then Payne takes the CD and crosses it off her missing CDs list on her closet door. Why would she even do that?
Right on her walls?
Yeah, about CDs that she borrowed to people.
Because Peyton's always repainting things.
I know, but just something like that just seems odd. I don't know.
Well, it's odd that she's constantly painting things on her walls.
Mm.
It's like, my parents would never let me do that.
Right.
It's like, you gotta approve the wall color. You know? Because it's their house. But again, Peyton's dad, where is he? I thought this man was supposed to come home and work normal hours. Not be away again.
Your parents wouldn't let you choose what color you wanted for your walls?
I did. They didn't like the colors.
Oh, my parents, didn't really care.
No, I picked that green.
Mm-hmm.
They were like blue, and they were like, okay, Brittany, how are you getting your colors from? No, they did, and they were just like, okay. And I'm like, hey, it turned out good to me. Yeah. Hey, I found a bedspread that worked. No, they think I don't choose colors very well.
And then Payne brings up that her and Brooke called it quits today. And,
they call it quits a long time ago.
yeah, it's just Payne that really called it quits. And then, so Payne does explain that she thought they would get through it because girls usually don't break up.
Usually girls don't cheat on their best friend's boyfriends.
Right. Yeah, and Lucas says he's sorry, and she says her too. She's going to miss Brooke. And then she tells Lucas she's glad he dropped by because she's going to call him about Haley's party and asks if he's going, and he says he is. And he doesn't think Haley's ever thrown a party, but she hasn't. He's known her the whole time.
Well, that, and she doesn't have that many friends. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing is, again, why are you throwing a party with people you don't know?
Right.
It's very weird. Also, I wouldn't want to go to that party.
Mm-hmm.
I would just want my friends over, and that's it.
Right.
Which is what Nathan wanted, which is funny, because it's like they swapped people. Like they swapped characters. Because Nathan was the party boy. And now he's like, I just want a low-key. And Haley was the low-key one. And now she wants to be him.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird, isn't it?
Yeah. And then Payne asks if Lucas wants to go together with her. And
Which was very weird.
Yeah.
You want to go together?
Right. Not like a date or anything, she says. But
Just friends.
Yeah.
I just thought that was weird. Like, because she goes, well, we are friends. And it's like, why did they get to say it? But it was weird. Like, why are you asking him to go with you?
Right. And then Lucas asks about Brooke, and Payne says, just hang out with her, and like he can hang out with her, date her, whatever. They shouldn't have to avoid each other anymore. Her and Lucas, and Payne and Lucas says, okay, they're going together. And then they go to her closet to talk about listen to music. And then Nathan is working his first shift now at the place, and he's having trouble making the pretzels. And they do.
Oh, one thing that I missed.
Yeah.
When Dan walked into the apartment, he told Tim was leaving, and he told Tim, he said, "How's my wife?"
Oh yeah.
That was funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the pretzels Nathan is making look really bad, and he even burns himself. And then he doesn't stop to give a customer a napkin, so the manager has to give him one. So then he tells Nathan the customers first and tells him what pulp is. Apparently it stands for performance, understanding, leadership, and people. the Hot and Twisted Way. That's what the place is called. And then, you know, Nathan being kind of the jerk he is, he says, isn't that what he used to call his mom? And then his name is Gary, the manager. And apparently he goes to Treehouse.
This was what threw me off was because he was saying, well, when you're a big shot, like you can be a big shot at school, but here I'm your boss or whatever. And then Nathan goes, oh, you go to Tree Hill? And he goes, yeah, I'm in your history class.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Also, my thing was, so this Gary doesn't really like Nathan, right? That's what it seems. Well, why would he want to hire Nathan?
I guess because they're desperate for workers.
It was very weird because he goes, oh, Nathan Scott. Like, he acted like he wanted him hired. And then all of a sudden, it's come to this. And I'm just like, why did you hire him then? Also, I have a question. Or a red flag. Why is a teenager a manager?
I guess because he's just been there long enough with the experience and everything.
He's what, a junior?
I guess, yeah, I don't know.
You have to start working. You only start working like when you're 15.
Yeah.
Cynthia. What place as a teenager as a manager?
I don't know.
No place I've been to. That's just weird.
Yeah, I think he wanted to hire Nathan so he could boss him around too.
Probably, but going back to the manager thing. A teenager should not be a manager. They are not qualified. I don't think they don't have the experience.
Right.
And even, like, he works part-time, first of all. Because he's at school. So you mean to tell me there's not even an 18-year-old that, works there?
Yeah, like I said, they're just...
Well, they must be desperate. If he's the manager, they're desperate because there's no reason why a kid is a manager. No. That's my red flag.
Right.
Because think about it. You're letting a teenager choose who's working at your place? Like, no. At your business? No. Someone that's qualified should.
And then,
But then Danny walks in.
Well, Gary did mention about homecoming last year, and that a few of Nathan's Raven buddies had kicked his ass for fun. But Nathan, of course, doesn't remember it, so he says he's sorry.
That's because Nathan always got wasted. And let his little minions do the work.
Right. And then we get to Karen's cafe, where Lucas walks in, and up to Karen, who's sitting at a table, and she's working on that tie for Keith.
Well, yeah, this is where she says that it's for a job interview.
Right, yeah, and it's making a movie.
And then this is where she says that Keith proposed to her, and she said no. And again, first of all, Keith told her that he was going to tell Lucas about the move. So she told him that, but I mean, it's hard because that's her son. So she should tell him, right?
Right. Yeah.
And plus, she finally told him about the proposal.
Yeah.
But again, Lucas shouldn't have to be the adult in this.
And then Lucas gets to Keith's house to talk to him. And, he says his mom told him what happened, and he asks why didn't Keith tell him, and he says he was, it was hard.
Because he's being immature.
What?
He said he's being immature.
Oh, yeah. But he said it was hard as it was with Karen turning him down. The thought of leaving him is harder. And he doesn't want to be the second Scott brother to do this to him. And Lucas says he knows,
that's a cop-out.
Yeah, he knows it doesn't see it that way.
That's why it's a cop-out. That's why I'm saying, who's the adult in this? Lucas shouldn't have to go to you.
Right.
in all these scenarios. Like, you should be the grown up and tell him.
Mm-hmm.
And be man enough to talk to Lucas. But the problem is he's avoiding him all because of Karen. Like, get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your relationship with Karen should be separate from your relationship with your nephew.
Yeah. And then he says he knows his mom, and Mom said no, but that doesn't mean he has to go. And he says it's time for him to move on. It's something he's got to do whether he gets the job or not. And then wherever he ends up, he can always call or visit, and he'll always be the guy that Lucas can turn to. And Lucas tells Keith he wants him to have what he wants, but he wanted him to be his dad too.
That was weird. When Lucas said, I wanted you to be my dad. And I was like, what?
I mean, he kind of already is, but I think he meant
legally. But
yeah.
When did that happen? Like, when did that come up?
Well, it was way before, during the father and son basketball game. They had that conversation.
It was brought up that Lucas wanted Keith to be his dad?
No, it's just, that's how they told each other, that's how they felt. Like father and son.
It was weird, though. I'm like, it's not like there was a conversation.
Right, well, yeah, he just went legally, like officially, yeah.
So what, he thought that if Keith staying around would make him his father?
No, marrying his mom would have.
Karen would have to say yes.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying. That's what he meant.
Well, then maybe he should have told Karen that. I wanted Keith to be my dad.
Yeah. And that Karen's next day, Karen is cleaning Jenny while waiting tables. Deb is there.
Where's Jake?
Yeah, I don't know. He should be there.
Dumped his daughter off on Karen there.
Yeah. Unless it's basketball practice.
All I know is Karen is like the best boss ever.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, she's supposed to be she's working, and she is also taking care of Jenny.
Yeah.
I mean, what boss would do that?
Not mine.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's one thing, I guess. I mean, it's huge if they let you even bring your kid to work, even for a day.
Yeah.
But for them to step in and take care of her
mm-hmm.
is a whole nother thing.
Right.
Like, that's why she really is the best boss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Dad's just remembering how simple babies are compared to teenagers and how things are different in the present day. With Dan not wanting to divorce her, but
her son does.
Yeah.
So I did think it was nice when Deb said that she was, she's been just realizing all the stupid stuff that she's kind of ignored or let go.
Mm-hmm.
And one was being in business with Karen.
Right.
And she wondered if that still stands. And
mm-hmm.
Karen said, yes. I'm glad that they are going to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do like their friendship. I do think it's sincere. Like, they're not trying to one-up each other like Brooke and Peyton like to do. They're just being real honest and there for each other.
Mm-hmm. And then Deb's going to go and tell Dan he has 24 hours to get his things when you're going to Goodwill.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Dan?
Doing what? Dan at Goodwill?
Like, his stuff's at Goodwill. He'd probably go and, like, sue Goodwill for Deb taking his stuff there.
Yeah. And then that's when Keith walks in with his suit on and says, or he can help her burn them.
Yeah, that was funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then...
did you see when Deb and Keith said bye?
Mm-hmm.
She had her hand around him.
Yeah, they just, like, hugged.
It was very, like, touchy. Mm. Like, Karen and Keith never touched like that.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
I just felt some little tension there.
Well, that's probably what Hillary, Sophia, and Joy were talking about from before.
Yeah. Because, like, I watched her hand, and it went like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. That's what I mean is, it's one thing to, like, just, give someone a quick hug, but theirs was definitely a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Karen gives the tie to Keith for his interview. And,
do you think it's weird that she's giving him a tie?
No, just like a good luck thing, even as a friend.
But why would he want one from her?
Because he still cares about her.
Also, if he has all this, I don't know, feelings about her, and like he's trying, the problem that is throwing me off is he's avoiding Lucas because of Karen, but he's not avoiding Karen. He keeps going to Karen's cafe.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Like, because you said, well, he's not seeing Lucas because he's avoiding Karen. But he's seeing Karen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, then why aren't you seeing Lucas? If you're not avoiding Karen because of Karen, that's what's throwing me off, is you are upset of what happened, clearly, because you're moving.
Mm-hmm.
But yet you keep going to see her.
Right.
It's not like he's going to see Deb. He's literally going to see Karen.
Yeah.
All these times. Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, if you're seeing her this much, aren't you going to miss that when you move?
Mm-hmm.
That's my other thing. You're moving to run away, but you're going to miss this.
Right.
That's what's weird, is don't you think it'd be like, okay, well, we need to learn how to not see each other so that we can live?
Mm-hmm.
How's this going to work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Keith is going to be one lonely person.
Yeah, so Keith mentions that Lucas visited him last night, and it meant a lot to him that he came over to see him. And if he gets the job, he'll be 3 hours away, so Lucas can come and visit him. And Karen fixes Keith's tie as he's holding Jenny. She tells him he's going to do well in the interview, and then he takes off. Now, Haley is walking to her car with groceries while on the phone with Nathan.
Why is Nathan on the phone?
Yeah, I don't know, just because he's used to talking to her all the time.
Cynthia, he is at work. I don't care that he talks to her on the phone a lot. He's at work. Put your cell phone away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not texting her, which I still don't agree with, but he is physically on the phone with her.
Right.
And they're talking about the party. It's not like it's an emergency, that's why he's on the phone with her.
Mm-hmm.
You know? That would be one thing if it was an emergency. But it's not. She's throwing a party. Also, don't you think that he's getting tired of hearing that she's pays for everything?
Right.
Like when it was when he was, when she said, you want me to buy you a smoothie? I was like, Haley, like, people don't, like, especially guys, they don't want to hear that. Sometimes they'll break up with you because of it. You know what I mean? Remember Pacey hated when that one Melanie kept saying it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy you dinner. I'll buy you a shirt. It's like, they don't like to hear that. So Haley keeps saying it. I was like, girl, zip it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's throwing the party and she's paying for everything. She bought him a smoothie. I mean, and this is just stuff we know about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Nathan's telling Haley that he's mopping, looking cool doing it. But then Gary catches him on the phone and reminds him that there are no cell phones, being used while working. There's customers.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then Gary asks if he cleaned the blenders yet, and Nathan says no.
No, because you know why, Cynthia?
Because he's talking on the phone.
Exactly. He's too busy on the phone.
Yeah.
To do anything.
Yeah, so Gary said that he told him that an hour or half an hour ago.
Also, how good do you think that mop job is, given that he's on the phone?
Right.
Like, his hands are not free.
Mm-hmm. Unless, did he have it, like, on the crook of his neck? Oh.
Yeah, but then your muscle is not in the mopping. It's on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, it's trying to hold the phone.
Yeah, and he wouldn't be able to move very much.
That's what I'm saying, is that mop job must suck.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's what he should have criticized him for, too. Because then Nathan's like, why? Like, kind of like, why are you picking on me? Like, it's like, Nathan, you know why? Because you're doing everything wrong. Like, you're on the phone, which is a huge, like, he should be fired for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love Nathan, but his reality is so far gone.
Yeah, he's never looked before, so.
Yeah, he's never had to lift a finger. But this is where Dan walks up. Because boy, is Dan fun.
Well, Nathan was risking more by telling Gary to relax, and that's when Gary says that he can't, because he actually needs a job, because some people, unlike some people, he doesn't have like a rich daddy waiting on him, and
that's what Nathan should have said. I don't.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think I'm working here? I don't have that system or that support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nathan just said that's not what he's doing. And then Gary says, good, because Jerry called him sick, so he's going to need to cover until 10 o'clock.
Wouldn't you question why Nathan is working there?
Right, yeah, it's not like he's doing that, for the fun of it, yeah.
Well, also, too, so this Gary guy, I've never seen before, goes to Tree Hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Given that Nathan has his own apartment, don't you think Gary would know that?
Well, he didn't let him fill out the application, so he doesn't probably even know where Nathan lives or anything.
No, but I'm saying in school. Like, it would go around town. It would go around school that Nathan has his own apartment, because how many teenagers have their own apartment?
Right, probably.
So, even if you're a little person, like, we were, you would know that. It would go around.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, it depends. There are some things I easily missed that I shouldn't have.
I'm just saying, I feel like it would definitely go around that Nathan has his own apartment. Especially if it's going around that there's a party in his house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Nathan, tells Gary that he has plans tonight, but Gary says so.
No, you don't.
So he can pick, staying or being fired.
Also, then you shouldn't have said, I can start today.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a party to go to, you should have said, I can start tomorrow.
Right. And then the next scene is he decides to interview. He's explaining to the superintendent, why he quit his last job. And just says selling the shop couldn't be avoided. New management were taking things in a different direction. And then the management was actually his brother, who was an ass. And then the superintendent says he may be qualified from a technical standpoint, but teaching teenagers is a whole other thing. Yeah, so he wasn't questioning, about Keith not having a teaching degree either.
No, all he wanted to know was basically what happened to your business.
Yeah, like why you want to work there. And he says to him, it's not about teaching. It's about giving them the confidence to do something. And once you do that, you've earned their trust. And that's when you can have an effect. So the superintendent says his brother was an ass too. So that's basically how they kind of bond, and I guess Keith gets the job.
At first, I didn't know how I felt about that guy. Because it seemed like he didn't really like Keith.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I did. I was like, and then when Keith's like, yeah, like he does like his brother and stuff. And then like the guy just like looked at him and I was like, okay, this is going bad. But then out of nowhere, he says, he has a brother like that or whatever. And I was like, okay. Like, just how it was played, I was just kind of like, okay, that's weird. Because it seemed like he didn't like him.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all of a sudden they can bond. I'm like, all right. And even Keith was like, all right, let's move on. Right. I was like, okay, I got that same feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Haley and the others are getting ready for the party. Mouth is a DJ, and
of course he is.
Yeah, Haley's putting on her makeup. Tim shows up early with a keg.
Of course he does.
And Haley tells him that
Nathan's not here. Maybe you should come back when he comes home.
Yeah.
I love how she doesn't want to be left alone with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Tim sees and says somebody has to kick this mother off. And then Tim says, what's up, nose to mouth?
Yes, why?
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Yep.
Disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. And then Peyton is at her house getting ready when Lucas walks in. And then he tells Peyton she looks kind of hot. Yeah, so
first of all, I think we all knew that's what Lucas thought, of her. But, I mean, definitely didn't have, you're only friends. You don't have to say that.
And then he gives her a gift. It's a record. She says she loves it, and
she's so excited.
Yeah. And then,
it's like nobody's ever gifted her anything before.
Right. And then she didn't give him anything, so she gives him like a high five in return. And then Haley, Tim, and Mouth are still the only ones in the apartment as they wait for Nathan to get there or anyone else.
Did you see though that when the door, like when people are actually at the door, Tim runs over to the door and opens it?
Yeah, like he dives over the couch.
Yeah,
area.
Before Haley. I'm like, really, Tim?
It's just because he like really wanted to party, you know.
Literally.
Like he was bored. And Haley asks Tim if he knows any of these people, and Tim says no, but it's a party. She wants people to show up, right? And then Haley's like, yeah, sure, cool. But like he's nervous having strangers in in the apartment, which she should be. And then Brooke is at that same bar again. It doesn't check IDs. A guy sits next to her.
Well, it's like by now you would know who she is, right? When she walks in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she goes often.
Yeah. So she gives the guy a fake smile and he asks if he can buy her a drink, and she says he needs the clue, and she's going to give him one. You know, give him a clue about women. They send signals, and that was a brush off right there. And before he, so she says before he can dip into his follow foot, let her paint him a picture and save him the trouble. And then she says he's going to slink back off with his buddies, laugh this off, get wasted, and go home and make amends with himself, but don't think of her, because even in his fantasy, she doesn't want him. And then he takes his drink and walks away.
And then there's Nikki.
Yep.
Always has to get into everything.
Yeah.
What do you think when she said, she'll take two drinks and get two for her friend? Look how good.
Yeah. So now Brooke knows who she is.
Well, yeah, she was like, Brooke goes, you're Jake's ex, and right? And she goes, no, he's mine. Same difference.
You know, Nikki asks why she's there. And
she said ex-boyfriend and backstabbing ex-girl best friend.
Yeah, backstabbing ex-girly best friend, yeah. And Nikki says if she has a strand of her hair, she can, you know, put a curse on them. And then Brooke even does give her a strand of her hair, but she never does anything with it. Well, she does, but not like anything you would think. She just asks for their names, and Nikki is shocked to hear it's Lucas and Peyton because she knows them now. And then asks Brooke, you know, where they are tonight, and Brooke answers at a party she isn't invited to. And, you know, when they sink around like little mongrels, she gets removed from the A-list. And then Nathan is still at work and still struggling. He knocks down a basket of pretzels, making a scene with the noise. Gary says, nice move, all-star, and Nathan starts picking up the food when Dan walks up and chuckles at Nathan. And Dan comments, you know, what a shame. He has pictures of his first bath, first haircut, steps, and there he is, his first job, and him without a camera. But
he has one. It's called his memory.
Yeah. But even if he did have a picture, Dad would most likely take it from him in the divorce.
And then, of course, he's going on about, you know, instead of here, you know, basically, you know.
He's like telling Nathan, like, this isn't going to last, you know, much longer.
Yeah. He's like, just move back home with me. It's like, oh my God, why would he want to live with you?
Right.
Nobody wants to live with you, not even your own wife.
Yeah, because Dan says this is embarrassing. Nathan says it's embarrassing to watch him and his mom fight. And this might be ground floor, but at least he's doing it on his own, unlike some. Like how, you know, Dan
because he said, he said, you know, like, basically you lives off your wife's money. It's like, nice burn.
Yeah.
But see, again, we're learning, again, but Deb's the one that has the money.
Yeah.
Like, Dan kind of like promotes himself as this successful businessman with all this money. But I don't know, is it really his money?
Right.
Like, he has a business, yes. But it's something like it's all Deb's.
Yeah. And then Dan says he has a lot to learn, but go ahead and impress him. So Nathan picks up a pretzel from the floor and tosses it to Dan.
Oh my God, that was good.
Yeah. And Dan had been walking away during that moment, so he didn't see him pick it up from the floor.
No, but he catches it and it's like, thanks. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, but eats it happily.
Like, do you really think Nathan would just give you one?
Right. And then Gary saw that and smiles, approving after seeing the way Dan is with, Nathan.
Well, I do think that little Gary needed to see the dynamic of, like, why Nathan is the way he is and also why he is working there.
Yeah. And then back at the apartment is filled with people now, like really, really filled. And that's a small apartment. It's like, it has to be a 1-bedroom.
Well, it is a 1-bedroom.
Yeah. I was just thinking, because you know how other characters live in it later, but it's still a 1-bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can, somebody can, live in the living room, but, 2 girls tell Haley she's living her best life with Nathan in her own apartment, and Haley starts to tell them it's not her apartment, but they walk away.
No one cares.
Mm-hmm. And then Lucas and Peyton show up. Haley greets them, and Lucas asks...
my other problem with this is Haley is the good girl.
Mm-hmm.
The one that knows right from wrong.
Right.
So why would she have alcohol at the party?
Because other people brought it?
Okay, and I'm just saying, like, it's your party, so put a stop to it. Like, Tim brings the keg and everything, and it's like, but why would you let Tim do that? Like, you're the one that knows right from wrong.
Yeah, well, she wanted to, be cool and be popular, with Nathan.
But that's what I'm saying. It's throwing me off character-wise. Like, this isn't her. This is Nathan. Old Nathan.
Yeah, and you would think that Lucas would comment on this like he did with the cheerleading thing?
Yeah, like, this isn't you. Like, what is Nathan trying to change you?
Right.
Like he said about everything.
Yeah, this would have been a better moment for Lucas.
Yeah, he did it. He did that with the cheerleading thing. Mm-hmm. He did that with the tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
This would be another thing.
Yeah, but I guess since he's like actually into partying, he's learning his
all
side.
of a sudden. Yeah. Nathan or Lucas has also never really partied before, but and also any party they really went to
was Nathan's.
Well, it's Nathan's, but it's also never been good. Like drama has always happened. Mm-hmm. So why would you want to go?
Right. And then just then Brooke arrives.
But also Lucas also said really the only reason why they're going, him and Peyton, it's because it's Haley's party. They're not really into party scene either.
Right.
So it threw me off because I'm like, then why wouldn't either one of you say something?
Mm-hmm. And then just then Brooke arrives and says she's sorry she's late.
With Nikki. And the other thing is, they're not sober.
Right.
And too, how they each had 2 drinks? You have to imagine they had more than the 2.
Right. So does that mean they walked there or got a taxi?
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Because I think they both have vehicles, so I'm really hoping they walked.
Yeah.
They walked it off.
Yeah, and it was funny how when they walked in, Haley was the only one smiling just because she's the only one who doesn't know Nikki. So it was just funny.
Yeah, the other 2 are like, what'd you bring that thing for?
Yeah.
Well, especially when Nikki and Peyton see each other. It's like, ooh, it's not going to be good.
Right. Yeah, so Peyton's like watching Brooke and Nikki drink together on the couch on the other side of the room. And Haley asks who Nikki is, and Peyton tells her...
Jake's baby mama.
Yep. And she's a train wreck. And when Peyton says this, Nikki's like staring her down from across the room while pouring herself a drink. And just then there's a crash in the apartment somewhere, so Haley goes to see what it is. Peyton follows her. And then Lucas is still there. And playing his Game Boy, so like he's not really into the party.
He was only going for Haley.
Yeah. And then Nikki walks up to him and says, she likes a guy that can keep a secret. And Lucas says she didn't tell him not to say anything.
Oh, and then she said, so where's Jake? And he goes, working tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the only parent of Jenny's that has a job.
Right. Yeah, so Nikki says her and him will have to have all the fun. And then jokes saying that, does he think they have a carousel in this place? And,
I really don't like her.
Right. And Lucas says, she asked for a favor and he did it. Now it's her turn to do him a favor.
Yeah. Okay, you're talking to Nikki.
Yeah. And the favor is to take Brooke and get out of there before she starts something. His friend Haley doesn't need this. And then Nikki says what they're having fun, and Peyton walks up, clearing her throat. And Nikki says she thought she smelled something, and Peyton says that's a skink, and she tells Nikki that she's thinks it's coming from her. And Lucas laughs at this, and him and Peyton walk away from Nikki, and Nikki pours herself another drink. And then back at the mall, Nathan and Gary are cleaning up after the mall's closed. And Gary says to Nathan that he probably doesn't remember homecoming. No, try to bring it up, and Nathan says he doesn't again and says he's sorry. I thought at this point he would go into more detail if he brought it up again, but he didn't.
But Nathan did say he remembers it, so.
Why did he say that?
He said he remembers it, and that's why he's sorry.
No, I thought he just said he was sorry about it, and just the fact that he doesn't remember it.
No, he remembers it. He remembers what happened.
Oh, I just thought 2 times he said he didn't.
He said he did.
And then Gary asks Nathan, why does he need this job so badly anyway? Nathan tells Gary if he saw his dad right, if he can't show a judge that he can support himself, he has to live with that guy. And Gary tells Nathan then he better hope he doesn't fire him. And then Nathan tells him he's going to work hard because he needs a job. And so he can either let it go and accept his apology, or he can just fire him right now. Gary says he'll let it go, but Nathan has to do better. And then Gary says Nathan can take off since he has a party tonight. And Nathan is surprised that Gary knows about it. And Gary says...
Nathan says, you can stop by if you want. Okay?
Yeah, because everybody at school knows about it. That's how he learned it. Yeah, Gary says right, then tells Nathan to pry his lips off his ass and get out of there. He'll see him tomorrow. And then back at the party, Brooke is waiting to get beer from the keg. Payne walks over to get beer as well and mentions to Brooke about hanging out with Nikki, and Brooke just acts like she doesn't know Peyton. Payne tells Brooke to not cause any trouble. And then Brooke pretends she just realized who Payne is, saying that she is that tallish lion person she used to be friends with. And then says why doesn't she go crawling back to the boyfriend, formerly known as hers, and Payne says the whole not being friends thing with her is getting easier every time she sees her. And walks away. And then Nathan is outside, I guess, waiting for the bus, and calls Haley. It goes to voicemail, and he doesn't leave a message. And then back at Deb's, she's going through Dan's trophies, and she had invited Dan over to pick them up, but he was late apparently. Dan asks if she's going to divide up the trophies, and Deb says, in depriving him of his glory, she wouldn't think about it. And then Dan had poured himself some wine, and then asked Deb may he or should he just pour half back? And then,
he shouldn't have any.
Right. And then he asks her, why are they going through this charade? She's just going to have to unpack it all later. And Deb says it's time to move out of denial. And he says she's the one here creating busy work for herself while their son gets a job at the mall, a direct result of her irrational need to rip the 3 of them apart. And Deb says she wasn't, if she wasn't half drunk, she'd tell him to go screw himself. And she goes to get the box of his trophies, but then drops it before he can hold on to it.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Some of them are probably broken.
Mm-hmm. And then Dan realizes that the glass that he's using is their wedding crystal. Deb says that's his because she broke hers.
Yep, it's kind of like you guys, broken.
Mm-hmm. Dan says he doesn't want to do this and divide their lives up, and Deb says he already did that to their family a long time ago. And Dan gets mad and next, what's he do? Work hard by building up the business, giving her a nice life, a car in the driveway to close her back.
What did you think when she took her
shirt off,
part of her shirt?
And it was like her sweater, and she threw the car keys or the house keys at him too. It says he can have it all back. And then she asks what else does he want. He says he wants her.
Yeah.
And then he kisses her.
Yeah.
And then she slaps him. And he kisses her again, and this time she kisses him back.
But why? I can't.
Yeah, I don't know, just
Like, the problem is he's not a regular person that you would remember, oh, remember we were in love, blah, blah, you know, like regular couples.
Yeah.
It's Dan Scott. So it's like, really, Deb? You're falling back to him? Gross. Like she's desperate or something.
Yeah. I just think it's the sexual tension that's still there, and
But with Dan?
yeah, and just
she can't find anybody else.
I guess that's the only thing that's left that she has for him. So, but back at the party, a couple of people are messing around with the toaster in the kitchen, and clothes and sparks. Some people are carrying around Mouse for some reason. Haley's telling them to be careful with him. Mouse even is asking for help. And then Haley walks to where Payne and Lucas are in the kitchen, like the island. Payne gives her a shot from the stress of making sure people don't break things or get hurt. And then Brooke and Nikki walk up, with Brooke pushing Tim out of the way, and says to Payne and Lucas that she sees her playing games, and she tells Nikki to watch out for them. They look like they might cheat. Nikki laughs and says to Payne, "Oh, you're still here? I thought you'd be running back off tucking my kid." And Payne comes back with somebody has to.
Oh my god, that was so good. Payne's like, someone's got it. And I was like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Because, and again, and how Nikki said it too, it's like, you don't even care about your kid. Because, I thought you were going to tuck my kid in. It's like, I didn't like it. I'm like, you really don't like your kid at all.
Yeah.
I don't even understand.
Yeah, Nikki had said to Payne too, like, hopefully it's not some slutty boyfriend thief. Brooke says she'll drink to that. And then Payne tells Nikki why doesn't she do what she does best and disappear. Nikki asks if Payne has a problem and starts walking towards her. And then Brooke tells Nikki she's not worth it and grabs her arm. Nikki tells Brooke to get off of her, and Nikki walks up to Payne and asks her again, does she have a problem? And Payne says, yeah, it's called you, bitch, and this is when
you fight.
Yep. So Nikki
hell breaks loose.
Yeah, pushes Payne against the wall, which seems a little dramatic. It didn't seem like a good enough push to make it look realistic, you know? And like Payne just kind of freezes there, kind of not moving, you know. She had an opening to, you know, get back at Nikki right away, but kind of just stood there.
But took it.
Yeah, because then Nikki slapped her across the face, and then that's when Payne pushes Nikki back onto a table and fights her, and so they slide off the table, and you know, they're pulling each other's hair. Brooke tries to get Payne off, and Haley, you know, tries to get Nikki, but they have no luck. And then Payne tries to get in between them until Lucas grabs Payton and Tim and Nikki. And
Lucas was prior, though.
Was what?
Lucas was grabbing Payton.
Yeah.
I noticed. And then it was weird, because then Haley or whatever was like, Lucas, get her. You know, like, and it was like, he's been trying, it just isn't working.
Yeah. And then Nikki threw that stool to where Payne was standing, but Payne ducked.
You know, Nathan's already poor.
Yeah, the stool went through the window.
And then you just add more destruction. Plus, okay, so there's that much destruction. Do you really think the manager of this apartment complex is going to let Nathan stay?
No.
You can pack your bags tonight.
Yeah, especially with the police showing up.
Yeah, the police show up. It's underage. You got a party with underage kids, like, and now there's damage. It's like, sorry, dude, you seem to have a lot of problems.
Yeah, so
because it does seem like a quiet place to live. So the fact that now you've got all this kid moving in, it's not good.
Right. And then after they finally break up the party, Lucas tells Nikki she needs to go, and Nikki says, isn't this sweet? Lucas Scott coming to the defense of his woman. But shouldn't that include someone else?
Yeah, herself.
Yeah, and then Haley, Brooke, Payne all turn their heads towards Lucas. And
you know, I actually felt bad for Lucas in this moment, because this should have been a private moment between the girls and Lucas. It shouldn't have been everyone from school and town know about this. It should have just been them.
Yeah. Yeah, so Lucas confesses that Nikki is the girl he met at the bar. Brooke says Lucas got the train all aboard, and Payne pushes him out of the way to get past
him. I like how Brooke went after Peyton.
Well,
like,
Brooke after
Peyton walked off first.
Yeah.
Then Brooke followed her.
Yeah, I just caught the fact that she told Lucas and he called her easy.
Well, I just saw that they were walking off in the same direction, and I was like, ooh. It's not like one went one way, one went the other.
I think because they were both hurt by
Well, I think
Lucas sleeping with Nikki.
Well, yeah, I think that's what can bring them back together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's not like he, but the problem is he really was in love with Peyton. It's like, is Brooke going to really forget that?
I guess, yeah.
Clearly.
Because I guess this is worse in some way, I don't know.
I don't know how, when he was truly in love with Peyton.
Mm-hmm.
They bonded.
Yeah.
That's worse than a one-night stand.
Mm-hmm. And then just then Nathan gets there, and
the police.
Yeah, after the fight's already over and the music stopped and everyone's quiet. And then the police who, they ask who apartment it is.
And he goes, let me just make it easy. And Nathan goes, it's mine.
Yeah.
Oh my God, but then Lucas trying to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then the police officer said, you want me to arrest you too?
Yeah. Because he's signing, giving Nathan a ticket for everything, underage drinking, disturbing peace. So they weren't even like really counting the fight, I don't think, because it was already broken up.
It was already over,
yeah. So luckily, that would have been a little bit worse. Because then, Peyton and Nikki would have been arrested, for the fight. But, so Nathan's, trying to be,
Smartass.
Yeah, and says, he's not his fault, he just
like
sat there.
You're talking to the cop.
Yeah.
Who is about to arrest you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you should be giving him crap.
Yeah. So, so they take him away in handcuffs, and Lucas is
But I think the problem is Nathan knows. I mean, think about it. Nathan has been in trouble before with the law and has gotten away with it because of his dad.
Yeah, but no, this time he can't.
Well, yeah, but in his mind,
he can.
It's still, I'm Nathan Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get off easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you only got off because of your dad. But now you don't have that. But again, Nathan can talk back to cops in his head because he thinks nothing's going to happen to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was funny when he was getting arrested, because it's like, Nathan, you think you're Mr. Big Shot, but you're not.
Right.
You're like anyone else can get arrested.
Mm-hmm. And the next scene is with Deb and Dan in bed.
Oh, why? Okay, that is something I did not want to see.
Yeah. Dan asks if Deb remembers their Christmas break after the first semester of college. Deb says, yeah, they stayed on campus because she was afraid to tell her parents she was pregnant. And Dan asks if they were in the dorm room for days. Everyone was gone. He remembers thinking that maybe the world wasn't out there anymore.
I can't believe Dan would want to be in a dorm room with Deb that long.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to imagine that.
Yeah.
Because he's always got something up his sleeve that it's like, what now?
Yeah. And all the trouble's outside gone away, and that's when the phone rings and Dan answers.
Okay, so I had a problem.
Yeah,
Dan is like, okay, gotta go. And I'm like, you're not even gonna say why?
Yes.
First of all, they called her. Because you don't even live there.
Right.
And secondly, you're not going to tell her that her son got arrested?
Yep, it's just like about when he took those performance enhancers.
Yep, didn't tell her.
But this time it was right to her face, they didn't tell her anything.
Yep, lied right to her. Mm-hmm. It's like, you just basically used her in bed.
Yeah.
And then you're not even going to tell her that her son's arrested.
Yeah, he said it was the real world calling and still out there.
Nope. Yep. And you know what I had an issue with Dan, too? Is he was basically like, yep, we slept together, which you would think for normal couples, it would be like an indication of getting back together or a step to it. Mm-hmm. But Dan's like, no, we're basically still happening. We're getting a divorce. And it's like, huh? Mm-hmm. Again, a normal separation, that's a happy thing, them sleeping together. But for Dan, it's like, again, that's when he used her, because he's like, I got what I wanted, slept with you, and, as in, she's still easy to manipulate and get her in bed, and now, going to get him out of jail, and also, we're still getting a divorce. It's like, what? You're so annoying. He can manipulate anything, can he? Or can he? Mm-hmm. So annoying.
Yeah. And then Dan picks up Nathan from the police station.
Oh my God, I love how Lucas is right there. And Dan was like, he goes, and the disappointments just keep on coming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and Dan had said that this experiment of his is over, he's coming home. Nathan says forget it. And
I will say,
mm-hmm.
for Dan,
yeah,
he could easily win this. It's like, take Nathan to court, prove to him he can't. First of all, Nathan sold his car without his permission,
mm-hmm.
so that'll look bad in the court's eyes. And also, he threw a party with underage drinking, and, it's like, and he got arrested. And he has all these citations.
Yeah.
It's like, that would look very bad in a court.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Dan would be able to win that, I think.
Right, yeah.
And Dan, and now it'll look really good, too, because Deb did not pick him up. He picked him up.
Right.
I think that's probably why he did it.
Yeah.
Was because then he can go to the court and say, she doesn't even care. She didn't even go and pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
I did it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's probably why he did it, because in the court of law, he'll look better.
Right. And then Dan even told Nathan that he brought him into this world and he can promise they can take him out.
I hate when people say that.
Yeah, well,
it drives me nuts, because there's only one way you could take him out.
Yeah, well, and Deb's the one actually technically brought him into the world, too.
I know, but I hate when parents say that.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it, because it's like, there's only one way, and you'll end up in prison if you do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, like, from this episode,
mm-hmm.
I don't understand how Nathan can still live on his own from the court and still even have a place to live.
Right.
Because there is nobody. First of all, he should be thrown out
mm-hmm.
From damage and underage drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, the court should be like, you're absolutely not responsible.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, he should also not be able to live on his own.
Yeah.
It's just like all these red flags. How is he still able to live on his own? I don't understand this.
Yeah, and then with the arrest...
And he finally got a job. But he left early from the job to go to a party.
Mm-hmm. And then with being arrested, too, that would make him lose a job as well.
Yep.
So, and he would have
nothing. They don't want a felon.
Mm-hmm. And then just then, Lucas and Haley are there. Lucas tells Dan to let Nathan go. And
that's what I mean. That's a disappointment.
Yeah.
But then Dan told Lucas, you shut up. Why don't you go tell your mom what really happened to us?
Mm-hmm.
But Lucas doesn't in this episode.
Right.
He doesn't go back to Karen and ask what happened.
Right.
Which is weird, because wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I was like waiting for it. Even like at the end of the episode, I was like, ooh, he's going to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, didn't say anything.
Yeah, so Dan did make the charges drop too for Nathan.
Of course he did, because he's trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. He's only interested in what he can get out of it.
Mm-hmm. And then he tells Nathan if he wants to run his life, go ahead, because he's done. And then, so Lucas does get home. Karen's still up at the kitchen table. And,
so, she knows he went to a party, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I guess she allowed it and him to stay out as late as he wanted because it was Haley's, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I could think of, because why would you let your kid out?
Right.
That for that late? I mean, think about it. The party, who knows how long it lasted. And then he went to the police station.
Right.
So, that was late.
Yeah.
Also, Haley's parents, they let her stay out that late?
I guess, yeah. Well, it's Saturdays, so that's probably why.
I'd have a curfew.
Mm-hmm. And then, so Karen just tells Lucas about, it meant a lot to Keith that he wants to go see him. Lucas tells Karen that she deserves to be happy and nobody deserves it more, but so does Keith. And he thought that she could be happy with Keith together. And Karen says she loves Keith very much, but she's not in love with him.
This is where he could have said, I really wanted him to be my dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lucas asks if she was ever, and Karen says she just guesses she never let her heart completely go there, but she kind of
She
was.
did.
Yeah, before she was leaving at least.
Again, you wouldn't kiss somebody if you were just friends with them.
Yeah, and then she made the excuse that he's been such a good friend, sometimes romance confuses a friendship, and Lucas tells his mom he can't tell her how to feel in her heart. It just sucks for Keith.
And it does.
Yeah. And then back at the apartment, Nathan tells Haley not to worry about the mess. And
oh my god, it's so crazy. Like, he's such a good boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Most boyfriends would be like, you ruined my house.
Right. And then he went off to go turn the kitchen faucet off that somebody, had on, but for who knows how long. It was just running for some reason.
Nice water bill.
Mm-hmm. And Haley said she never thought that many people would show up, but, I feel like if you invite Tim, you're going to invite everybody.
Tim just brings all the people. Mm-hmm. That's the thing is, all you got to do is tell Tim and he'll bring all the people.
Yeah, because Haley just, says it was just her. Nathan said this kind of, comes with the territory of being popular.
But she's not.
Right. But this is like her coming out party to being popular.
What does having a party have to do with you being popular? Like, how does this make you popular now? A bunch of nobody's little extras talk to you now?
Yeah.
Like, I highly doubt this is going to change. Like, tomorrow she goes to school and everybody loves her.
Well, yeah, because she threw a party and it was great. There was a fight and everything.
Yeah.
And then Peyton's at home lying in bed, then Brooke shows up.
That's weird.
Yeah. She says,
again, Brooke is now going to just throw everything away of what happened. That doesn't make any sense. And that's not the Brooke that we've seen.
Right. Well, yeah, she feels like that Nikki was kind of her responsibility. And it was probably a mistake to bring her. And that her judgment was impaired by rage and cocktails. And tells Payne she's sorry. She wants to call it a truce, a real one. And Payne asks friends again, and Brooke just says not.
Just not enemies.
Yeah. And then Brooke brings up that she's thinking about Lucas, how he's just a guy, and he makes mistakes just like the rest of them. And Payne says, yeah, maybe. It just feels worse when you expect more from somebody. And then says that, Nikki is crazy. And Brooke's crying a little bit. I wasn't sure by, what that meant, but Payne asks if Brooke thinks they can get back to the way they were, and Brooke says it doesn't feel like it anymore, so maybe that's why, but I didn't think she would cry, about their friendship. Because you think that she kind of already grieved about that already?
Yeah.
And then the next day at Karen's cafe, Keith walks in and tells her he got the job.
Again, visiting Karen.
Mm-hmm. And, Keith says that he thinks it was a tie. And Karen says she's sure it was him. And then Keith says that he's felt for too long like everybody else was out there living their lives. And when they told him they wanted him, he felt good about it. So he starts in a couple of weeks. Once again, Karen's surprised it's that soon. And then Deb is at home. She's looking at the yearbook from high school. So that had been Dan's high school yearbook then. She didn't go to Tree Hill.
But it said 98.
I saw 86.
Like, pull it up on your computer. I swear I thought it said 98.
Yeah, hold on.
Because it threw me off.
Yeah, because it was, we didn't see it at first until she put it back in the box. So it was like upside down kind of when it showed in the box, because that's how she put it in the box. Yeah, because I don't have that little apostrophe, but if you look at the way Ravens is, then you can see it's 86.
That's why I thought it was 98, because
Yeah.
when you just glance at it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so 86.
Yeah, 98 wouldn't have definitely.
That's why I was like, it's only been 5 years.
Yeah. And then, so Dan shows up, and he says he was thinking that she should have a divorce, and Deb actually changed his mind. He says he realized the same thing he realized in the dorm room. The girl was always going to be out there, and there's no going back. And then next we see Keith packing up his things, and that's when Lucas walks in. But we don't see what they say. Nathan's at work again. And then Lucas is outside of school when Peyton walks up. Lucas says hey to her, and she says hi back. And then they start walking together. He tells Peyton that he didn't know about Nikki and Jake until he met her. Now that didn't make sense. Because he didn't know until quite a bit after they met who she was. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
When did they meet her?
At the bar. But he says he didn't know that, about Nikki and Jake being exes until he met her. But he didn't know.
Yeah, at the bar that night, he didn't know. No.
Yeah.
She was just a stranger.
Right, so that makes sense. But, so Payne says so she was some stranger in the bar he slept with and tells him she doesn't need to apologize. Just after the stuff they've been through, where her head and heart were at, she couldn't have gone and slept with a stranger herself. And when they first met, she was with Nathan and he was a pretty bad guy. She's not doing that again, and he knew we would switch places. So yeah. So what was your high and low?
So for me, my high was Nathan finally getting himself a job.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. The low, was the party. Because if they didn't have that party, then there would be no damages.
Right. Yeah, it's not so much of a high, but it's like a resolution with Payne and Brooke with their fighting. It seems like they are gonna chill out and not argue with each other every moment they get,
Yeah.
And then the low was Ian and Nikki fighting and causing all that damage in Nathan's apartment that he definitely couldn't afford to get repaired. And then rating?
I'd rate this an 8. It was good.
Me too. The fight was entertaining. And then worst and best?
You go first.
Well, worst is Nikki, because she just causes more trouble. Her intentions are always bad, even though she acts like they're not. And then the best is Haley, just because she was trying to, like she said, get Nathan's apartment back from Tim with this party and trying to, fit in with, I guess, Nathan's group of people in a way, and just kind of, try to do something in her own terms, even though it went horribly wrong. And the worst?
So for me, the worst, I picked Brooke.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fight wouldn't have happened if Brooke didn't bring Nikki.
Yeah.
If she would have just brought herself, everything would have been fine. But she brought Nikki. She brought the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So she, to me, was the worst. She should have just got drunk with Nikki at the bar. And the best, I actually liked Karen in this. Because she was taking care of Jenny when she definitely didn't have to. Mm-hmm. She was there for Keith. She told Lucas the truth. She was there for Deb. I liked her in this episode. Yeah. Alright, now what's the next episode?
Episode 21, The Leaving Song.
Mm-hmm.
So
sounds like the finale, The Leaving Song.
Yeah, it's the second to last episode of the season. Yeah.
Alright, thanks for listening.
Yep, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would appreciate it.